the programs at GRASP have very little requirements in order to come and participate in our programs. For our senior and elderly programs, a senior is identified as a person who is over age 60. That is the only requirement for participation. There are no income requirements, even though we do ask demographic information for budgeting, and certain funders appreciate the fact that they serve a low-income funding individual. For instance, Bexar County funds us with some funding from the Community Development Block Grant, which is funded by HUD. And HUD requirements basically say they can only come from low-income mod cities, and therefore to get those funds to reimburse us, we have to identify those individuals that fit that dialogue. However, if we have the other persons at the other end of the income spectrum, that's well and fine. We just can't seek funding to reimburse for those individuals. So there's programs that we end up serving a lot of a lower income individual. However, there is no requirements that that is there. All of our folks come mainly because they have a goal that they want to socialize and be with somebody else, and by the way, they get a good meal, they make some new friends, they get out of the house. And for instance, we have a good population of retired military folks who have been used to camaraderie all of their lives and companionship. And it's interesting here in San Antonio that we house a lot of retirees. And once they begin to visit with a face they may not have seen, or perhaps it may have been somebody they served years ago with, and they rekindle new friendships, but all of a sudden they find out that, you know, they've had same commanders, they were at the same base, you know, they had a same line of duty, and they just built a brand new relationship with one of their buddies and fellow retirees that make up our veterans. And then of course we've got a lot of veteran spouses who come in and make friends with other wives of active military or retirees. And so there's always that, you know, 6 degrees of connection that they find. And so that's important for our veterans. And our other programs that we have may be a little bit more specific on serving the low income or the needy population in Bexar County. And that includes our programs which we provide financial assistance to help somebody pay their rent who have faced unemployment, underemployment, major medical setbacks, family dissolution, and the many, many reasons that people begin to seek help. Then we have our rent and utility assistance program, and we also partner with Bexar County that comes to our office to meet with individuals out in this area of the county to access a program that's been collected by the City Public Service known as REAP, the Residential Electric Assistance Program. And individuals can meet the staff at our office and apply for those assistance funds without having to go downtown and pay parking and transportation and perhaps forget an item that they needed to bring with them, and they can't afford to come all the way back and go back down and set in line again. So it's a great need, and we see about 40 people a week applying for those unique funds that are available to Bexar County residents. Rent assistance is always a challenge. The average rent in Bexar County is up over $950 countywide. So when an individual is laid off, and we've seen a lot of layoffs from the oil industry lately, you know, it's like they had a high rent payment and they've got their car payments and been laid off from the oil industry. And whenever times were good, they were paying high rents, and of course they had car payments and all the ordinary expenses that any other family has. But when they've lost their job, their source of revenue has greatly diminished, and they're struggling to make ends meet. And we are there to help them with funds, with rent assistance that we get from corporate and individual support, our thrift store revenue, and certain times during the year, the Department of Homeland Security has issued budgeted dollars into the Emergency Food and Shelter Program, EFSP, and we receive about $35,000 a year to help all of those families help pay their rent. The good thing about being in Converse and the local communities, we reap the benefit of the small town collaboration. We are fortunate that we have great partners such as St. Vincent de Paul and St. Monica Catholic Church, RayCap, Our Lady Perpetual Help Catholic Church, First Baptist, some business partners that when we're assisting a family with a utility bill or a rent payment, frequently they match what we're going to do. And therefore, instead of one person saying we're going to help the entire bill of this individual, we all come together in collaboration and make a difference in that person's lives. And some of these folks, while they're waiting on unemployment or food stamps or one of the other programs, they need a one-time leg up just to help me this time so I can bridge to tomorrow. You know, I've got a job that's pending, but I'm not going to get paid for, you know, the next 2 weeks or a month, and therefore I just need a little bit of help and a little hand up to make it to tomorrow. Hunger is an issue that we hear about frequently, but oftentimes it's words and you don't necessarily know that somebody is facing an empty cupboard when they go home. Grasp has the largest food pantry in the northeast area of Bexar County. We are a partner of the San Antonio Food Bank. What that means to me is I have access to their warehouses of food, and we bring in 3 truckloads a week to meet the needs of our neighbors in this community. We give out approximately 10,000 pounds of food every month. We go through canned goods, boxed items, non-perishables. We have perishables, we have produce, so we give them green lettuce and vegetables and fresh fruit. We have 4 freezers dedicated to frozen meat. So it's not just come up and, you know, we're going to give you some odd, bizarre canned goods. We try to provide 3 to 5 days of meals in a grocery cart, much like they would go to their favorite grocery store and shop for themselves. We also take in consideration if they've got teenagers in the house that are eating 3 times more food than other product. And that makes a difference in bridging them over, especially if they're applying for food stamps or another product line. And being able to get frozen meats and other product is really important. So we couldn't do it without the food bank and other local donors. For instance, several of the schools in the Judson and the Church Cibolo School District do can drives for us. The ROTC of Judson High School raised about 30,000 cans of food. Recently, one of our churches for Super Bowl Sunday did a Super Sunday and collected about 300 cans of soup for us. The local Rotary Club is collecting peanut butter to help prepare us for spring break. And another church is helping us collect Easter candy so we can give that out to families that don't have the extra income to go buy candy for their Easter baskets You know, they're just barely able to get the hamburger and hot dogs on the table, but I'm not going to buy the chocolate bunnies. Well, we have a church partner that's going to buy those chocolate bunnies for their Easter baskets. That's the kind of partnership I see, and I feel fortunate because I've got the local partnership of small town churches in Converse and Universal City and Shirts and Selma, Cibolo, that know that we're here, and they know that we're their neighbor helping their neighbors. Because a lot of times the food that is collected in the first, second, and third grade at Cibolo Valley Elementary School is helping some kid in their classroom. And so it really becomes very real to them to know that, you know, it's not just going to a big warehouse that's going to be shipped to 20 different counties. It's going back into their neighborhood. So that's what's very real about our program with emergency food. So that pretty well wraps it up. We've got our senior program that, you know, helps feed seniors that want to be active and lead a better life. We've got our transportation to get them wherever they want to go. And then if they begin to struggle and they need rent or utility assistance, or any one of the other programs that are offered by the United Way, you know, they're going through the grief of a spouse or any of the other things that are funded by the United Way, we have a quick connect to get them to where their needs are answered or addressed anyway. And everybody can come out with a positive outcome. And so, you know, we're blessed for all that fund us and support us, and we're blessed by all that need us, because sometimes that's what makes our day. So we know that we've addressed the needs of somebody, and they make sure that, you know, we know that we are appreciated as an agency. And I appreciate my team and my staff that makes a difference in all these lives every day of the year. And so, you know, it takes more than just a little bit of money and bricks and mortar. It takes the people that make it happen. And I'm fortunate that I have a team of people that make it happen. Thank you.
Thank you.